a kingdom built on stone and light. The morning sun rises over ancient Jerusalem. Dust swirls around the hills, catching the light like gold flakes suspended in air. The city stirs slowly, stone by stone, as merchants open their stalls and priests ascend the temple steps. At the heart of this ancient world stands a man whose name would echo across millennia, King Solomon. For over 3,000 years, the world has asked the same questions. What happened to Solomon's treasures? Where did his relics go? Do any survive? And if they do, where are they now? These relics were not ordinary objects. They were symbols of power, of faith, of identity. They represented the height of Israel's golden age. They stood as proof of a kingdom that once united tribes, commanded wealth, and welcomed envoys from far beyond the sands of Judea. But time swallowed them. War consumed them. Empires rose and fell upon their ruins. Today, we follow the true historical trail of these relics. We move through deserts, scrolls, ruins, and forgotten chambers. We navigate dusty archives and ancient inscriptions. We follow the archaeological evidence, the biblical records, and the scars left behind by invading armies. This is not a legend. This is a reconstruction built on real history, illuminated with the cinematic depth of a novel. Welcome to the story of the lost relics of King Solomon. Solomon's rise, the making of a golden kingdom. Solomon ascended the throne around 970 BC, inheriting a young but ambitious kingdom from his father, David. The world he entered was small in size but enormous in potential. It sat between the great powers of Egypt and Mesopotamia, a crossroads of commerce and culture. Historical and archaeological evidence shows a sudden growth in Judah during the 10th century BC. Large gates, massive fortifications, and urban planning at sites like Megiddo, Hazah, and Gezer all reflect a centralized authority. Ancient quarries reveal unprecedented building activity. Solomon's reign, as described in the biblical texts, was defined by three forces. 1. Wisdom. 2. Wealth. 3. Worship. The last of these led to his most iconic achievement: the First Temple of Jerusalem. It was not just a religious center. It was the heart of the nation, an architectural marvel built with Lebanese cedar, Phoenician craftsmanship, and unimaginable amounts of gold. Inside that sacred space rested the most important relics of ancient Israel. And it is from this moment, the completion of the First Temple, that the story of the lost relics truly begins. The relics of Solomon, sacred objects of a sacred age. 1. The Ark of the Covenant. The most revered artifact in Hebrew history. Carried from the wilderness of Sinai. Placed in the Holy of Holies by Solomon. Historical records describe it as containing tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments. A jar of manna. Aaron's rod. The Ark's disappearance is one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. Its last known resting place, Solomon's Temple. After that, silence. The 10 golden menorahs. Unlike Moses' single menorah, Solomon created 10. Described in detail in the books of Kings and Chronicles, these lampstands illuminated the sanctuary with continuous holy fire. The table of showbread. Covered with gold, updated during Solomon's reign, and central to temple liturgy. Solomon's seal. Referenced in later Jewish, Islamic, and medieval texts. Believed to symbolize divine authority. Not magic, but political, spiritual legitimacy. The temple treasury. An enormous reserve of gold, silver, shields, vessels, and ritual items. Some accounts list 300 gold shields. Countless utensils. Precious textiles. Silver trumpets. Royal ornaments. The copper scroll treasures. A literal archaeological artifact discovered in 1952, engraved not on parchment but on copper. It lists massive quantities of gold and silver hidden across the Judean wilderness. Some scholars believe these may have been treasures originally tied to Solomon's temple. These are the relics whose fates we seek to uncover. The shadow of empires. History does not spare kingdoms, not even golden ones. After Solomon's death, the kingdom fractured in two. Israel in the north. Judah in the south. The division weakened political stability. Over the next centuries, larger empires cast long shadows over the land. Assyria, Egypt, Babylon. The greatest threat came from the east, a rising power with immense military strength. By the late 7th century BC, the Babylonian Empire under Nebuchadnezzar II expanded toward Judah. Eventually, Jerusalem fell. This was the moment the relics vanished from recorded history. The fall of the First Temple. The year was 586 BC. Babylonian troops breached Jerusalem's walls and set the city ablaze. The First Temple, Solomon's masterpiece, collapsed in fire, stone, and smoke. Historical texts record the plundering of treasures. But not all treasures were listed. Where did the relics go? Theory 1. Hidden before the invasion. Many scholars believe the priests hid the relics in secret locations before the Babylonian breach. Supporting evidence. The Mishnah and Talmud reference hidden temple items. The copper scroll describes treasure caches. The Temple Mount houses ancient, underground chambers. Priests may have moved the relics during the siege, concealing them in caves, cisterns, or tunnels. Theory 2. Taken to Ethiopia. The Kabra Nagast, a 14th century Ethiopian text, claims the ark was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik, Solomon's alleged son. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church still claims to guard the ark in Aksum. While historically debated, the tradition is ancient and unwavering. Theory 3. Lost in Babylonian transport. It is possible that some items were looted, melted down, or repurposed within Babylonian treasuries. But again, no surviving Babylonian record mentions the ark or the golden lampstands. Theory 4. Never recovered after the return. When Jewish exiles returned from Babylon and built the Second Temple, texts clearly state the most sacred relics were missing. The Holy of Holies was empty. This is one of the strongest historical confirmations that the relics were removed before the Babylonian conquest. The archaeological trail. Archaeology provides clues scattered across the ancient world. 1. Fortress excavations at Megiddo, Haza, Gezer. Massive construction matching the biblical timeline of Solomon's reign. 2. Temple Mount sifting project. Fragments of gold, embossed stonework, and ancient temple materials discovered among discarded debris. 3. The Copper Scroll. Lists over 60 treasure locations, possibly linked to temple wealth. 4. Qumran Caves. Associated with a priestly community that preserved temple knowledge. 5. Tel Dan inscription and Mesha stele. Independent evidence of the House of David, validating the historical setting. No single discovery solves the puzzle, but together they form a mosaic, guiding us. They represent the identity of ancient Israel, the survival of a people despite conquest, the power of memory preserved through scripture, a connection between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. One of the greatest unsolved archaeological mysteries on Earth. Their disappearance shaped history. Their rediscovery, if ever achieved, would reshape it again. The mystery remains. 3,000 years after Solomon walked the stone courtyards of Jerusalem. 3,000 years after the glow of 10 golden menorahs illuminated the temple. 3,000 years after the ark rested beneath the wings of gilded cherubim. The relics remain out of reach. Hidden. Guarded by time, politics, wars, and the sands of forgotten ages. But the search continues. Through archaeology. Through ancient texts. Through the relentless human desire to understand our past. As long as history remembers Solomon, the world will keep searching for what he left behind. The mystery endures. The relics wait in silence. Somewhere beneath the earth. Or somewhere beyond.